Hey everybody, welcome to part 4 of my series, How to Find the Right Homeschool Curriculum for Your Family. For this 4th and final video in the series, I am going to be talking all about choosing between a big box all-in-one curriculum versus an a la carte pick and choose kind of style. When you start researching your homeschool curriculum options, you're going to find that there are some homeschool curriculum companies that offer just one subject. And then there's other homeschool curriculum companies that offer all the different subjects. Those curriculums that offer all of the subjects are sometimes referred to big box or all-in-one curriculums versus using different curriculum companies for different subjects, which is what I like to call a la carte style. So let's start with the big box curriculums. These are usually really attractive to new homeschooling families who are feeling overwhelmed with all of the different options out there and they just want like a one-stop shop. This is really nice because you are just ordering from one company. It's typically just a set price for all of the different subjects. And then that term big box, you literally get a big box of homeschool curriculum delivered to your doorstep. This is also really nice because you're not having to learn different curriculums and the different ways that they're laid out and things like that. You get used to one style for all the different subjects. The greatest benefit to going with something like this is honestly just convenience. Again, not having to juggle different companies, different websites, different orders. You can also save money going this route because a lot of companies will just give you one set price if you're going to order all of the subjects versus having to pick and choose from different companies. Although sometimes it's pretty comparable, so it just depends. Now, the downside to going with an all-in-one or big box curriculum is that if this curriculum does not work out for your child, because you'll quickly learn you kind of have to do trial and error to see what really works for your kid. Well, if it doesn't end up working, now you are stuck with all of the different subjects. You've now spent all of this money thinking that it was going to work. Instead of just exchanging out one subject, now you're just going to have to revamp the whole thing because you bought it in all-in-one. Another downside to going with an all-in-one big box curriculum like this is that, in my opinion, different companies have different strengths. And when a curriculum company is trying to do their best in all these different subjects, I do feel that some subjects will fall short. So you might notice that you really like their math, but you don't really like their reading. That could just be a matter of personal opinion for you, or it could be that the company just bit off more than they could chew and they're lacking in some areas. But it really is nice to just have everything all in one. But if you notice that your child is thriving with that curriculum, then it's really nice to have the option to get all of the subjects all in one company, one-stop shop. Now I'm going to switch to talking about the a la carte or pick and choose homeschool curriculum style. This is what we personally do. When you look around our homeschool room, you can see we have our science bin with science unit studies. We've got our math bin with Christian Light Education. We've got different curriculum over there for our Bible and our preschool. We do some online options as well. The benefit to going this route is that you really get to customize your homeschool to meet your child's needs. So for example, my kid might thrive with an online math curriculum, but she needs that in-person curriculum for reading. I also feel that different curriculum companies have different strengths. And so I'm personally trying to find the best of the best for each subject. And I am learning that not all of them can be treated equally. And it's very apparent, at least to me, that certain companies have certain strengths in certain subjects. Another benefit to going this a la carte style is that your child might have different learning styles for different subjects. For example, they might be a highly visual student in math, but they're more of like an auditory or kinesthetic learner in science, especially science. You'll see that a lot. You can pick and choose from different curriculum companies to meet your child's learning style for that subject. Now, there are some downsides to going this route of picking and choosing from different companies. Number one being that now you're gonna have to get used to the style and the structure of several different companies. You're having to deal with separate websites, separate orders, things getting delivered at different times. And then storage could be another issue as well. Like you saw, I have bins kind of all over the place for different subjects versus if I went with like an all-in-one big box curriculum, I could just throw it up on a shelf and it's all right there. Also, if your child is somebody who really thrives with like consistency and it's just easier for them to work from the same curriculum for the different subjects, then an all-in-one big box curriculum might be the way to go. But if your child enjoys the variety and maybe they do have those different learning styles, like we talked about, then going the a la carte, picking and choosing from different companies, that might be the way to go. Again, just like all of the other topics that we covered, when it comes to choosing a homeschool curriculum for your family, this is a really personal decision. And that's what's really cool about homeschooling. We have the ability to customize, to change it up, to do what works for our family. Now, there is one more aspect of choosing a homeschool curriculum that I did not touch on in my previous videos, and I really wish I would have. class, so I'm gonna mention it real quick here. Sometimes you will see that homeschool curriculums are offered as being a spiral-based curriculum or a mastery-based curriculum. And this is the case whether you're doing a bookwork style curriculum, online curriculum, all-in-one, a la carte, doesn't matter. So real quick, a spiral-based curriculum is probably the most common of them, and that is where your child is learning a new skill that day. You just briefly touch on that skill, you're not diving too deep, and then you spend the rest of your lesson kind of reviewing previous skills that they've already learned. And then the next day you might dig a little deeper with that new concept and then go back and review. So it's kind of like you're dropping little breadcrumbs, you're just scratching the surface before diving deeper later. And they're constantly getting that review. So that's that spiral base where you're spiraling back. Mastery-based curriculums are different in that you're not really doing too much review of previous concepts until you've mastered the first. So for example, if you're learning addition on Monday, you're gonna continue doing addition until you've mastered it before you're moving on to a new concept. Now, mastery-based curriculums, they do go back and review eventually. It's not like you just do something once and you never see it again, but you definitely dive deep into the concept right from the start, master that concept, then move on. There are pros and cons to both. Again, this comes down to what type of learner you have and what's gonna work best for your personal family. So that is a wrap. I am hoping that by the end of these 4 videos, you feel a little bit more knowledgeable, a little bit more confident in your ability to go off and find what works for your family. Keeping in mind secular versus faith-based, open and go versus more comprehensive or custom, online versus parent-led, and big box all-in-one versus a la carte style. If you have any questions at all, or if there's anything that I didn't touch on that you want me to explain a little further, drop it in the comments. Be sure to follow me so you can stay updated with all of my homeschool content, not just curriculum, although a lot of my content is about curriculum. And I wish you all the best of luck on your new homeschooling journey.